Taste of Country Nights with Evan Paul on demand, season 2, episode 40, featuring Chase Rice. Are you gonna have kids?
I don't know.
Do you want kids?
I don't know if I have any now. I hope I don't. But
we had a lot of fun talking with Chase Rice, and his new album is quite an interesting turn for Chase, and we'll get into why and what he's got going on in his head and in his future musical stylings. You like that? Stylings. We'll get to that, and we have a special bonus artist, Dylan Marlowe, in on after Chase Rice. If you go back to our past podcast, we had Keith Urban on recently, Brantley Gilbert, Miranda Lambert. Just search for Taste of Country Nights on demand wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Good to see you, man. I love the record, man. Thanks for blessing us with the new album, man. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people if they haven't been paying attention to what you've been saying for the past few years.
Yeah, at some point it's like, all right, guys, let's stop talking about what I was for 10 years. Like, this is just who I am now. And it makes sense. Like, I'm 38 years old. Like, why would I still be singing Ready, Set, Roll and stuff like Eyes on You? Yeah, it's just real. We did it on the I Hate Cowboys record in 2022. Now here we are putting this one out. Or it might have been 23. I think it was 23. And, yeah, it's just where I'm at right now, man. I started when I moved to town. I wrote a bunch of songs on acoustic guitar. And you write way different if you're writing to tracks or in a guitar. I do anyway. And I was just done with the tracks. It was a phase in my life that I did, and I was happy to do it, and I loved it when I did it, but that's not where I'm at now, and I wrote all these songs on guitar, and it's kind of a continuation of the I Hate Cowboys record, and it finalizes that, and that's why we wanted to do the Cowboys and the Go Down Singin record together, which we're calling Fireside Sessions, which is just all of them acoustic featuring the songwriters. So it's been fun, and I don't know where it's going to go from here. I think it's going to get even more acoustic. And we're going to try some new stuff on the next one, which we accidentally wrote in Colorado. So I already got another record ready.
Accidentally?
Yeah. And it's 9-10 songs right now. We're going to try to get it like 13 to 15.
Do you feel like, is it more freeing being back to like independent and just you wake up and you can do whatever you want?
Well, and not to bash the label, I wasn't what they needed and they weren't what I needed when it happened. But I was in the studio recording this Go Down Singin EP, which was going to be the deluxe of the I Hate Cowboys record. We didn't even have Go Down Singin on it, and recorded like 5 or 6 songs, and that was going to be the deluxe. And that week, Bad Day to Be a Cold Beer got pulled from the radio. We got no CMA, anything, and they denied the budget to record the album that we were already in recording. So it's like, all right, well, we're doing this anyway. Like, I'm not going to be told when I can and can't record. To me, no artist should have to deal with that. I understand it's a business. They got their money they got to put in different places. But it makes zero sense when I'm the artist and I can afford to record this music myself. You guys have way more money than I do. And you're telling me, no, that's not going to fly with me. I'm not going to deal with it. And I had a clause in the contract to get out. So I exercised that clause and got out like that. So this album wouldn't even have been an album. It wouldn't even have been a deluxe. I don't know what would be happening right now, but I'm not going to be put in a situation where I can't put out music. No artist should ever have to deal with that, and I'm not going to let that happen.
Wow. All right. Where did the song "The World Don't Work No More" come from? I mean, that's a real sad song about marriage. That
was somebody said something on my bus as they were walking off. I can't remember what the word was. It was a word that you can't say these days. And I just looked at him. I said, nope, that word don't work no more. And they walked off the bus, and it was just a funny moment of that. So I took that to Lori, and it was the first idea I had. We ended up writing O Tennessee, UN85, or O Tennessee, If Drinking Helped, then UN85. And we were done writing for the 2 days, and we were packing up. And she was like, shoot, we didn't write that word don't work no more. That was your original first idea. And we wrote it in, I don't know, an hour. So we finished that up, and then we took it from what it was and how it was created to like it's just a story of this couple. And we could have easily taken it down the road of like, I don't know, just like getting older together, and then all of a sudden they end up together and they're happily ever after. And for some reason we took it down the road of divorce. And sad as hell. We did it.
You've talked a lot about your battles with sobriety in the past. Did you funnel like some of those dark thoughts into that song?
100%. I mean, I don't want to be I feel like I'm the 38. I've avoided my first divorce. So I haven't ever gone down the road of marriage, which is great. I would have screwed that up for sure. But if I had gone down that road, I'm sure I'd be divorced, living on top of a liquor store. Like, that's just the truth of what happens when you drink too much and a marriage ends because of it. I'll still drink time to time. I still have a good time, but it's not like what it was the last 10 years, thank God. But there's also a line in that channeled my life in Oh, Tennessee, which was about moving to Tennessee, getting your dreams come true, and it just ruins your life. It says sex, booze, and self-abuse, just to name a few. It's just a little drop of like stuff that I've dealt with and struggled with my whole life. So it's just real. It's real music. It's very me. I don't think anybody else could write this record, which is the coolest part.
Well, like in songs like If Drinking Helped, I mean, is it hard to write these, or is it like therapeutic?
I love it. Yeah, I love it. When we're writing real stuff, it's just, I want to take it to the truth, no matter how far that truth is.
Well, is there like ever a relationship that you ever drank away?
Oh yeah, a lot of them. Yeah, it's sad, but
give me like the saddest.
Probably 2014 or 15. There was a girl that I just didn't treat very well. It wasn't like I was mean to her.
Right.
I just didn't do the right things that a guy should do. And through that breakup, I was just drinking my way through it because I didn't want to deal with it. These days, if it's a breakup, it's like, I'm not going to drink my way through that. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to own it. These days when I drink to have fun. I'm not drinking to disappear, which is way better and a lot different than drinking to disappear. But that song's about drinking to disappear. It's like, I tried all these things. I moved away just to get away from you. Turns out it didn't work. None of this stuff helped. So I'm going to come on back and start dealing with life. It's a very redemption song at the end where he says, but you ain't coming back, so I might as well.
Okay. And we're hearing like some Eric Church inspiration a little bit on Hey God, It's Me Again.
That's what people say. That's interesting because I never once thought of Eric when we wrote that song. But somebody even told me this, so that's like Eric Church back in 2000, like his Carolina days, which is cool. He was a huge inspiration for me in college. Like when I learned to play guitar, I learned a lot of Eric songs in the beginning. That's when he was just kind of the new guy, but he was awesome. So yeah, that's a compliment to me. I love Eric.
Is there like a friendship between you, Eric, and like Luke Combs, all being from Carolina?
I think Luke and Eric are a lot closer.
Okay.
I'm kind of the oddball out on that one. I don't know why, but and I don't know how close they are. I have no idea about their relationship. But Luke went to my high school, so that's interesting. We've talked about that. We've had some good times. I was on Luke's bus in Vegas at the iHeart Music Awards a couple of years ago, and we were just talking after, and he said, "Dude, do you remember going to the middle school when you were a senior? Like I was one of the main football guys, and you came and spoke to." As soon as he started saying it, I was like, "Oh my God, I remember this," because I went and talked to the middle school kids, like, "Hey, this is what you should do to become successful."
He was one of them,
and he was in the room that day.
Wow,
Handman Ray, not Ray Felcher, one of the guys that was on his bus. And they both went to Reynolds, and they were in the room that day. And because I remember the main thing from that day was this kid asked me, he said, "So if you get a chance to go to the NFL and not graduate college, would you do it?" And the obvious answer when you're talking to kids is no, graduate, get your degree. And my idiot 18-year-old self was like, yeah, I'd probably take that opportunity. I'd go right to the league and forget about school for a while. And I said the way wrong thing, so...
Don't worry. One time I spoke at a high school and talked about taking tequila shots. It was like a career day. I was like, dude, radio's got me a lot of good things, like tequila. You know.
That's even further than
I feel you, man. Let's talk about your two major record deals that you've had. What would you tell a new artist that was getting ready to sign? So, like, you've been through this. You would have advice. What would you tell a brand? Because they don't have leverage.
They don't have any leverage. I'd say get the leverage. I wouldn't sign. I'd get the leverage first. And it's not like I'm saying don't sign.
Right.
Deal. Like Megan Moroney, she's a great example. I I met her in college. She was opening for John Langston, and I watched her play, and I was just like, damn, this girl's good. We all went out that night, had a good time, and at dinner, I said, I'm playing Georgia Theater in a couple weeks. I'll let you open for me. I want you to open for me. You're awesome. But you have to write a song between now and then, and you have to play it live that night. And that was the first song she ever wrote, apparently. I didn't know that at the time. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But she did it, and I saw the song live, and I'm just like, oh, jaws open, just like, this girl's good. But she still owns her publishing. She put songs out and made Sony come to her. That's what you got to do. It's like, there's a right time to sign. Just make them come to you. Don't go to them and try to convince them that you're good enough. Be good enough, and they're going to come to you. And then you have the leverage a little bit to not sign your life away.
Okay, good advice. I like that, man. You in 85 is another song on the record. Are you going to have kids?
I don't know.
Do you want kids?
I don't know if I have any now. I hope I don't. But I absolutely want kids for sure. My dad was a great dad. Mom was a great mom. We were raised in a family of 3 boys and lived the all-American dream. I would love to recreate that. Marriage is going to be tough for me.
Okay, so you and Kip Moore are like the same person. Why? What makes it so tough to lock you guys down?
Well, I love women. That's been no secret. I don't think I love women, and it's got to be a hell of a woman to come into my life and say, okay, you know what? Because if I go down that road, I don't want to screw that up. Like, that's marriage. You're doing that for real. I want to do that right. So I'm going to look you in the eye and say, all right, you're the last woman I'm ever going to be with. Okay. That is a difficult thing to say to anybody. So, but it's the right way to do it. And I'd rather do it that way than go down that road and years down, you're cheating on her or whatever. It's like, I'd rather, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. So I'm waiting until I'm ready to do it right, or the right woman comes along.
I think there's a woman out there for you, and she already has a name. Her name is Jasmine.
What?
So if you marry a girl named Jasmine, what would her last name be? It would be Jasmine Rice.
God,
and I think,
it's like, where are you going with this? Jasmine,
I think y'all would be a successful couple.
I don't even know if I've met many Jasmines.
Look for a Jasmine.
What was Aladdin's girl?
Jasmine.
One of Jasmine?
Yeah, so that's what you're looking for.
If she looks like that, let's go.
That's what I'm talking about. All Jasmines do look like that.
Right.
So Jasmine.
Let's go. Better than white.
Has Survivor ever called you back?
Yeah, twice back in the day. I got emails or something. And I don't know how serious. I think it was pretty serious. But I said, no, I'm not doing that.
Are you mad that you didn't win that $1 million?
I mean, it sucks to lose $1 million. I didn't lose it. I guess it wasn't mine. But the kid that won should have won. I feel like he deserved it. Is
there anything that you still have bad? Did you catch something out there?
Nah.
Anything like still hurt you from there?
No.
Any PTSD?
Not really. No PTSD. The only bad side of it, I guess, I'm from Carolina, so there's a lot of great barbecue. I was never a huge barbecue guy. And then for whatever reason, after Survivor, I'm obsessed with barbecue. So that's not exactly great for you.
Okay.
So it could make me fatter in my later years. But since then, I've loved barbecue.
Okay. Tell me about a fan you'll never forget.
Stacy.
All right. Tell me about Stacy.
Stacy, she's from Virginia, and she was one of my first fans ever. Like, when I had no fans, she was coming to every show. She still comes to shows. She needs to stop spending her money on me. Like, she buys me so much cool stuff or makes me stuff and gives it to me. I'm like, Stacy, you're buying your tickets. You bought tickets for 15, 13 years now. Like, don't spend any more money on me. Like, just come to the show and let's have a good time. But she's a staple in our camp now. Like, everybody loves Stacy. She's a great, great lady, and she's been there from day one.
And Stacy can go backstage or kind of roll around, or how's Stacy?
Yeah, we've said hey to her a bunch backstage, meet and greets, all the above.
That's awesome.
And then you see her in the crowd, and
that's Stacy.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
That's cool, man. What's on your tour rider nowadays?
Herradura.
What is that?
Which is a tequila.
Okay.
I don't tell the middle school kids to drink. Yeah. Like you did, or high school.
High school.
Herradura, Jack Daniels. Feel Free. Have you ever heard of Feel Free? Those things are awesome.
What is
I
that?
took one this morning. It's like in a 5-hour energy bottle.
Oh, okay.
But you only take half and half. If you take the whole thing, you're gone. But it just makes you feel awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a natural kratom type thing. It's so good. And Zens.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I love Zens.
Okay.
They're probably gonna kill us all, but I love them. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I don't.
You've
have
probably
lot
autographed a few cans of that, haven't you?
Everybody throws them up there.
Sure, yeah.
I saw a video of Zach Bryan signing one, or he took his or something. The kid's like freaking out. But yeah, it's not all. Some of it's good for you. Some of it's the feel free is good for you. The rest of it's probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
And what's next for you, man?
Well, we accidentally wrote that album.
Yeah.
In Colorado. It was me, Oscar Charles, and Wyatt McCubbin after the Red Rock show with Dierks. And we went to an A-frame cabin in Rollinsville, which is near Nederland. I don't know how it's pronounced, in Eldora, Colorado. And I think I'm going to name that album Eldora because there's a song on it called Eldora, which is about a couple that, something went wrong in this relationship and he had to go east. And you find out at the end. We don't say it, but the couple had an abortion. And, years later, they're like, we need to get over this. We did this. It's not something we're proud of, but we need to get back together because we still love each other. So, and that's what that song's about. And we didn't mean to write that album. Like, we're trying to put out Go Down Singin' and focus on this. It's like, all right, well, we got this one. Before we overthink this, let's record it, put it out early next year.
And the good news is you can name it whatever the hell you want, man.
I can name it what I want. We wrote a song on it called Country and Western. And that we thought about naming it that. I don't know. I like Eldora. I bought a guitar after the trip because it was such an inspiring trip. I played this guitar at a shop in Denver, and I was just like, I fell in love with it. It was way more than I want to spend on a guitar. But it was a 1922 028 Martin. It's a pre-war, and you play it, and it's just like, this sounds like this record that we just wrote. Bought it, and we're going to record everything on that album.
Wow. How much was it?
I got it for $10,000.
$10,000, you just walk right out with it.
It was 11.5, and I said, tell the lady I'll spend $10,000 on it. We got 10 songs for this record right now, so that makes sense to me. And
that's $1,000 a song, man.
Exactly.
You'll make that back.
I'll make it back, but if it's a guitar that also makes me want to play more and become a better player, like, why would I not? That's an investment in myself.
Just don't check it when you fly.
I would not do that. I got to get a case, mate. It's in the original case, and back then they just had cases for any guitar, I guess, because this thing bounces around. I got to get a Calder case or something to get that thing protected.
Well, thanks for stopping by, man.
Yeah, good talking to you. Go Yale.
Yeah, let's go. As a special bonus on this episode, we also are going to include our interview with Dylan Marlowe. Taste of Country here with Dylan Marlowe. What is happening?
What up, dude?
I love the title of the album, Mid-20s Crisis. Are you going through that?
I was, yeah. Maybe I still am on the tail end of it, but yeah, definitely. In fact, some of the first few months this year were rough. So,
okay, why? Why so,
dude? I think just the industry's tough to navigate. Sometimes you get all caught up in like comparing yourself to other people, and then another part of it was just being gone so much and like not really being home with my wife at all. So just like all that stuff piling up on it, it just got kind of tough for a second. So
okay, all right. Yeah. Boys Back Home's a banger though, man.
Yeah, hey, we're good on that one.
Is that fun to play live?
Oh man, yeah. It's funny. We played it for like a year probably before it even came out. Nobody cared about it. Obviously, just nobody knew it. And so I kind of got bored of playing it, and I was like, I hate this song. And we put it out, and it blew up. The first show we played it, I was like, I love this song. Yeah.
Have you gotten to play it with Dylan Scott?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he came to my show in Nashville, and we played it. That might have been the first time we played it since it'd been out. It was fun. Was
anybody opposed to you getting him on it because it will be confusing?
No.
There's too many Dylans?
No, I think that was kind of the point.
Okay.
Yeah, just stir it up a little bit.
Like Dylan squared?
Yep, exactly.
Why are there so many Dylans in country? There's another one, too, like Dylan Schneider.
I know.
What's going on?
I don't know,
What
man.
are y'all doing?
It's funny. I spent my whole life growing up, I never knew another Dylan. And I moved here, and now there's like 5 or 6 of us. So, just trying to be the best one, you know?
Let's see. What song on this new album is going to reveal something about you and your music that someone that doesn't know anything about you is going to know?
That's a great question. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Heaven's Sake. The first song on the record is pretty it's the first song on the record because I just wanted that to be the first thing everybody listened to. It kind of like is the centerpiece for the whole record, I think. So
okay. Has your songwriting changed since you gotten married? Like, are you going to write more marriage songs?
No, probably not. I'm not the biggest fan of love songs. I grew up on old country and rock and roll, so I kind of like the sad thing. But every now and then I'll write. I feel like I have to. Not that I have to. I feel like one just like kind of falls in, and it's like, all right, I need to write that. You know. I
mean, as a songwriter and a newlywed, like. She sort of expects that, no? Like, don't you gotta bring a Dan and Shay type vibe every once in a while?
A little bit, yeah. She's the best. She listens to all my songs, and yeah. Every now and then, like the fence on the record is about Nat, and the deer on the wall is about Nat because it was an argument we had about hanging a deer on the wall. So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
It's an autobiography right there.
What was the argument? That she didn't want it up there?
Well, when we were engaged, I was living in the house. She hadn't moved in yet because her lease was still going. So I was just living there by myself, and I just took it upon myself to start decorating before she moved in. And she's like, "Hey, can you just wait to hang it, like, so I can see what furniture needs to go under it?" And I was like, "Look, you can do whatever you want to this house, but the deer's not going anywhere." And so I was like, I need to write that.
Okay. Yeah. And you are a big hunter and an outdoorsman. What's your favorite thing to hunt?
Probably turkeys.
Okay. Yeah. Do you get your own turkey for Thanksgiving?
No, because turkey season's in the spring. But I always have some in the freezer.
Okay. What's your favorite kind of turkey? Do you like the breast or the meat, dark meat?
Yeah, the breast. I've been told, this is just me saying this, but I've been told that I have some pretty good turkey nuggets. So,
okay.
Yeah, so
you got your own recipe?
Yeah. I kind of threw a bunch of stuff together. Pretty good.
Okay. Now, as a hunter, have you ever? This is a weird question. Have you ever killed something and then like gone up to it and felt bad about it?
No. Probably not. No, because I eat everything I kill, so I'm not going out there just to kill something. You know,
but there wasn't one that had like a look on its face, like, like right when you know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
usually they're pretty dead by the time I get to them. I guess I'm a pretty good shot. But no, it's crazy, man. You shoot one deer, you can. That fed me and Nat for 3 or 4 months probably. So
okay, I want to ask you about this picture right here.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So last weekend we played in Texas, and we had 3 days in between Texas and Phoenix, Arizona. And my buddies at Crash Landing, they run a giant hunting lodge in Oklahoma. And they're like, "Hey, why don't you and the boys just slide by? We got fields loaded with dove." They have like this huge lodge, and they had 9 bedrooms for the whole band. And so we stopped by, and the scooter is on the bottom left, Screech. He broke his ankle on a dirt bike. And so he shot all these dove, not all of them, but a bunch of them from his scooter right there that the dove are on under there. And so the whole band, we just took a day or two and just didn't worry about music. We shot dove, played a little golf, just hung out, rode dirt bikes and 4-wheelers and side-by-sides, and it was nice.
Okay, I know you got your turkey nuggets, but what's your favorite way to cook dove?
Yeah, we take actually all these that we shot right there. We cut jalapenos in half, cut the dove. You got a dove breast that has like 2 breasts on each one, so you take one, put it on one on the other half, wrap it in cream cheese and bacon. It's amazing.
Do you have to like defeather it and stuff?
No, dove are pretty easy. They have a breastplate. You just kind of pull up on it. You get the wings off and pull up from the breastplate, and then
Whoa.
Yeah.
This is like interesting to me. I don't know.
You learn after a while. We cleaned all those in probably like 30 minutes.
Dang, then you just grub on them right there?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you let them soak in water to get all the blood out of it, like let the blood soak out, and then you just
Isn't it
grill
easier
them up.
just to go to Wendy's?
No, well, Wendy's, like, that's the thing. You go to Wendy's or anywhere else, you don't know what you're eating.
That's true.
At least I know when I'm eating these Dove Poppers that it was flying in the sky 30 minutes before I ate it. So I know where it came from.
That's very true. Okay.
Yeah.
You wrote Last Night Lonely for Jon Pardi. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man.
How is it having something that opens doors like that? Does that help you as an artist?
Yeah, it's such a blessing, man. It's like a great icebreaker when it comes to like doing radio interviews or when it comes to just playing a live show as the opener. Like, obviously, a lot of people don't know about us yet, so it's one thing. When we play, I can say, "Hey, I wrote this," and then people can go, "Oh, I know that song," and I didn't know. There's always a cool thing, I think. Like, as a fan, if I go see, if I see like somebody that wrote a song for somebody else, I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool!" Like, it just adds this like thing of like credit, I think, as a fan.
Did you write it in mind for Pardi, or did he just find interest in it?
No, I wrote it for me. Their original demo has a baritone lick instead of a fiddle, and so I wrote it for me, and I didn't want to pitch it. And then my producer Joe showed it to Bart, who is Pardi's producer, and showed it to John, and they were like, "Hey, you should let John. Like, John wants to cut this." I was like, "No, I want to cut this. Like, I want this to be my first single." But then I didn't have a record deal yet at the time, so there was no chance of it even seeing radio. And so I was like, "I'm just gonna. All right, fine, you can cut it."
Do you have to take a pay cut when you are an artist as opposed to a songwriter?
It depends. Like, if I write everything, so I usually will make money on both sides. But as an artist, if you cut a song you didn't write, you're not going to see any of the songwriter money, obviously. But where it helps you is by having a song that helps sell tickets and having a song that helps get you just get the name out there.
It's safe to say that Jon Pardi has bought you what?
A house, a wedding, a lot of taxes to the government, more than I'd like to have paid. A lift kit on my truck. I think the only really crazy thing I bought was just a lift kit and tires on my truck.
Okay.
So,
do you get to tell John that stuff like that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've told him, like, "Hey, thanks for this truck. Thanks for
that's cool, man.
Stuff I got." So,
interesting story about Stick to My Guns.
Yeah.
When it was on TikTok, the comments kept getting hidden.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Did you ever hear anything back about that?
No, man, it was crazy. And I don't ever want to be that dude that, like, stirs up too much drama, or like, I'm not trying to be like the freaking pro right or pro left dude. It's frustrating because we put so much time into content, and to wake up to a video that said it had like 600 or 700 comments, like, it's like such a great feeling because you put so much work into filming these videos and editing them and posting them. And I was like, "Oh, let's go." And then I open it and it only has like 40 on there. And then all these comments just said unavailable, like, and some of the comments were from people I knew. So I hit them. I'm like, is this something? Like, no, we commented, but it just disappeared. And so I was like, the only thing I can think of is that it's just got censored somehow. Just obviously what it's about. But yeah, that was annoying for sure.
Have you ever carried while you were performing?
I usually have it on the bus. Yeah. I haven't walked on stage with it yet. Like, if it's at my show, I probably would, I know some guys, I won't say them, but they definitely hide theirs like on stage, especially because of the whole Vegas thing.
Yeah.
Some of the guys I know were there at that time, so they keep one up there somewhere.
Okay.
But I carry everywhere. I guess I'm not now because I didn't know where I'd be coming today with Paul.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually 90% of the time I am carrying. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool, man. Who was the first artist to really welcome you into country music after you arrived in Nashville?
Yeah, probably. I mean, that felt like I was just embraced. Probably Dylan.
Okay, which one?
Yeah, Dylan Scott.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a fair question.
And what have you learned from him? And like, how did he reach out to you?
I met him. So Dallas Davidson was the guy that signed me in my first publishing deal. Still with him now, and he was opening for Luke because they have a thing called the Peach Pickers, which you probably heard of. Him and Rhett and
okay.
and Ben, and he was like, "Hey, come network at this Luke show." So I just drove 6 hours, I think, to Ohio maybe, and I was just there to network and talk and hang. And I met Dylan there on a party bus backstage. And he was like, "Do you have that All About It song? Is that you?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I like that song." I was like, "Oh, sweet." Like, that was the first time I was like, "Oh, maybe I'm doing something right."
Okay.
And then a few weeks later, he asked me to be on his tour. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Eric Church, is he he's a big influence on you? Have you ever met him?
No.
Damn.
No, I want to though. I have an email printed out at the house that Steve Hodges at Sony, he sent him a record high. He's like, Will, what do you think about this? And Eric's response was, that's a big hell yes for me.
Wow.
And that was really cool for me. I feel like it's the only dude I'd ever probably like fangirl over.
Okay.
About.
Who do you have a song that if Eric Church called you, do you have one where you already ready? You could duet with him or whatever?
Dude, yes. 2 or 3. Yeah.
Okay.
If he called, I'd be like, yeah, you should duet this. Yeah.
Okay.
1000%, yeah.
Okay. All right. Who back home do you want to prove to the most that you've made it in Nashville? I mean, I read your story. I know, like, other than like your dad or whatever, it was like you got to do this or that. Like, who back home do you really want to prove to that I'm here?
Yeah, I mean, when I first moved, there was a bunch of people that were like, "No, that's stupid. Like, you suck. Like, never gonna make it." So, I mean, in the realm of that, probably just those people that kind of doubted me. But in the day, probably motivated me more than anything. So,
okay,
yeah.
Are you related to Kameron Marlowe?
No, we're at the same label, and we've thought about doing a relative test because he's from North Carolina, I'm from Georgia, so I'm sure somebody somewhere did something that I don't know. But
there's a chance that all the Dylans are related and the Kameron Marlowe. There's a big family here in country music. We just don't know it.
I know. I told him we got to do a Marlowe feature now.
Dude, that would be great.
The only thing is he can sing like an angel. So I don't know if I'd sound good on that track. Okay. Singing next to him.
Well, dude, thanks for coming by, man.
Yeah. This was fun, dude.
It's awesome, man. Yeah. Thanks for the album and everything, putting it out.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
All right, now let's bring Billy in from behind the camera to talk about these interviews. What you got, man?
Chase Rice, always solid, always real honest with himself and us, I think.
Yeah, I love talking to that guy. I don't get to talk to him often, but he's definitely got some depth. It's kind of like talking to Kip Moore a little bit.
He had a couple of good heaters there. I mean, that story about him speaking at Luke Combs' middle school was fantastic.
Yeah, how have we never heard that before?
Right? I mean, there's a few things like that with Chase. I mean, we know the Survivor. He was a NASCAR pit car crew member. Of course, he played football at UNC. But, like, the fact that I think he was born and raised in the same hometown as BK from Florida-Georgia line, like, that doesn't get out there a lot. That's why they're friends. But also, that Luke Combs story, the same middle school, and then like Megan Moroney, and there was another female artist, and I can't remember who he kind of really gave some solid advice to early on in his career. But the Megan Moroney story, like, that's a great story.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like to me, it's crazy how closely strung country music is in this one city in Florida and Georgia area. We need to find out where this is like country music's plethora of where they're all meeting and hanging out. Like, what is this?
Yeah, like that I-75 to I-24 corridor. Like, you could really, a lot of artists sort of just are within 100 miles.
Way to narrow it down.
It's interesting. You get a few from like Virginia, Delaware, and you get even fewer from California. But right through the heart of the Southeast and into the Midwest is where you kind of get a lot of country music stars.
Yeah, well, it's not just Nashville, man. It's branching out. You know, before you couldn't make it unless you were here. And now a lot of people they come here to make it, but they're not from here, which is cool.
Is it just me, or does it kind of seem like Chase is kind of always low-key apologizing for previous albums?
Yeah, and for like things that he did. Like, he's always apologizing for like relationships and...
Right.
Yeah, I got that feeling. I didn't know he felt so strongly against his like previous music.
And I don't think he needs to. Like, the albums, they were good albums for the time. Like his debut album, I mean, those songs fit right within what country music was happening then.
Yeah, I feel like he wants to be an outlaw. He doesn't want to like fit in, and I feel like now he has this chance to like just do whatever he wants.
Yeah, like I think he'll be a really good independent artist. Like, he's got kind of his own financial support. Obviously, he co-wrote Cruise, so he doesn't have to necessarily go somewhere for funding. so he can put his music out there. He's got enough fans that he can kind of rely on to continue to support him. Like, he's positioned very well to be a great indie artist for the rest of his life.
Okay, I could see that. I mean, do you think he makes enough every year just off cruise?
I think, I do. I think off cruise and then his other catalog. I mean, I think his songwriting, his royalty checks every year, he can make a living off of. And I think he draws a good paycheck for his live show as well, if I'm being honest. He draws a good crowd still, especially in the Southeast. So, yeah, I think he could go several years without releasing any new music and still put some money away in the bank.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those artists that when he comes out with fans and when he goes to shows, like, people are into it and they know what they're going there to get. And I wonder how the fans will, take in his new style.
I think they've grown up with him.
Okay.
So they appreciate it. I know I certainly have. Like 13 years ago, like when I was I don't want to do the math here, but I was young 30s, so Ready, Set, Go was kind of like hot and cool. But now, like, 45-year-old me is a little more mature and like wants a little more introspection in my music, and Chase is sort of bringing me that. So, him apologizing for the songs he recorded and released kind of almost asks you to apologize for liking it, which I'm not sure I'm willing to do.
Yeah, like, I liked Eyes on You and Ready, Set, Roll. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, bro country as sort of a genre gets a really bad rep because there's so much of it, but that's not to say there wasn't some gems within the sort of bro country. There's still bro country on the radio today. Like, bro country never really went away. We just kind of stopped labeling songs bro country.
Yeah, well, there's like all of these subgenres that took the place of it, or took the attention off of it. Now there's like 800 subgenres, so it's like, oh, what's bro country? Who cares?
On the flip side of all this is Dylan Marlowe, and it was interesting to hear him talk about like what writing a number one hit for Jon Pardi got him. And like, we talk a lot about like songwriters not getting paid as much, but what he listed is very similar to what an artist would have listed a decade ago.
Yeah, dude. I mean, paid for his house. Like, I was shocked when he said all that. Like, I didn't think it was that lucrative. I mean, we're conditioned, I think, to believe that there's not a lot of money there because they don't make a lot from streaming or whatnot, but I feel like there's still some money to be had there, apparently.
100%. I've always said that like a number one hit for a songwriter, assuming there's 2-3 songwriters on the song, like a number one hit, that's a house. Yeah. That's what you can kind of expect. But I said that like 10, 15 years ago when a house into the Nashville area might have been like $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. Now a house in the Nashville area is like $500,000 and up.
Well, that's subjective. I mean, you could have a trailer that you could find in Nashville for around $100,000.
True, but he didn't say a trailer. He said a house. But I guess he didn't say Nashville either. He could have gone out into the county. Maybe he's down in Columbia where price of land and price of homes is a little cheaper. Who knows? Yeah,
maybe he's living off the land. I mean, define a house. Maybe he's got 4 doors and a foundation, but it's real small. Yeah, I mean, you just never know. You never know.
I liked Dylan Marlowe. This was our first visit with him. It was kind of a little bit of a get to know you. How do you sort of approach that? Like the first time you're talking to an artist, do you intentionally set about a little kind of get to know you sort of questions, or do you just sort of go right into the content and let that stuff come naturally? Yeah, man, I like to just I get the feel as soon as I say hello to them when they come in, and I'm like, all right, we vibe, let's go. And I'm just like, I'm just learning. You just talk to them as if you know them. You just gotta keep rolling and just not get into too many pleasantries because, at the end of the day, the pleasantries are whatever. People want their stuff right away. So I just like to get right into it. Yeah, a little behind the scenes. Like often an artist will come in and Evan doesn't really like to talk too much to him because, he wants it on the record. But sometimes it might take a minute for me to get the cameras set up and hit record. Yeah. So like that's generally where I sort of jump in with a little bit of chit chat, and sometimes it goes very well, but sometimes my chit chat is a little awkward. I think my chit chat with Miranda Lambert was a little awkward. Specifically, I thought that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm too busy. I just stay straight, stone cold, and I'm like, don't say anything. Just wait. Because sometimes I'll be like, yeah, man, what's been going on? And then, boom, it's like, well, I caught this 8-headed deer, and I'm like, just wait.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, I used to have a pretty good rapport with Miranda, but the last 3 times I think she's come in, like, it's been awkward. Like, once my eyes were like bloodshot red because I had like some sort of eye infection. And then another time there was like something I said that was weird, and I felt like this last time I forget what I said, but I was like, "What are you saying?" You know, it's like when you're trying to impress the cute girl in class, and you just are like, "Hey, yeah, nice."
I feel like you're just, you know, that you're too good looking, and she's just not into it because she gets nervous. I think she just doesn't want to talk to you because she gets nervous.
I don't think that's the case, but
I think you have her smitten, you know, and then, you know, she doesn't want to start looking at you weird, and then Brendan's going to get weird. I mean, yeah.
Nothing but ugly artists can come in from here on out just to save me from being awkward around
Well,
people.
listen, we're just not
list.
going to have any artists, because that means the next one that comes in is going to be deemed ugly. So this is, I guess you just ended the podcast. Let's just end it on that note.
Very good. Nice and awkward.
How do you make everyone's favorite buffet even better? How do you make the country's best chicken even more exciting? How do you make Thursday the best night ever? Wing night at Pizza Ranch. Boneless and traditional. A variety of sauces. All the wings you want, plus all your other buffet favorites. The country's best wing night is here, taking flight Thursday nights on the buffet. Only at Pizza Ranch. Pizza Ranch, everyone's favorite buffet.